Hello there and greetings everybody. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. We're here to do the final episode of Commonalities Compared, and even blah 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 showed up holding on to Shadow up there. Anyways, this is the final episode of Commonalities Compared, episode 51. It was actually only supposed to be 50, but yours truly can't count. But anyways, Ben has picked two really good albums to discuss for the final episode. For those of you who haven't seen any of the episode, basically what we do here is we take two commonalities. It could be two drummers or guitarists or bands or album covers that have something in common, and then we talk about them. Basically, that's what it is. He's given me two today. I do not own one of the two. I did try to get it this week, but they just didn't have it. But I have listened to it before, and I listened to it again today. And that is Thin Lizzy's Live and Dangerous. The other album it will be compared to today is Cheap Trick's Live at Budokan. So both these albums, pretty solid live albums. That's what I can say about them. The similarities between these two bands are more numerous than might appear on the surface. So with Thin Lizzy, you've got this Irish kind of hard rock band that got a little bit of metal in their music as well. But at heart, they are a rock and roll band. The same with Cheap Trick. This band is a rock and roll band at heart. Yes, they have that power pop thing going on. They've got some hard rock going on. Some fast-paced stuff too, really. 3 or 4 of their albums have that in it. But at heart, they're a rock and roll band. Both of them, I believe. When I say rock and roll band, that's bands that have some kind of 1950-ish influence in their music. Maybe a little bit of that style that was prevalent in the 1950s, playing that in their music. Sex, love, rock and roll, that kind of thing. Very basic beats. A lot of that going on. So the two live albums, so Cheap Trick, of course, is a 4-man band, vocalist, bassist, guitarist, and drummer. Thin Lizzy is a 4-man band as well, bassist, vocalist, 2 guitarists, and a drummer. Both bands have a bit of a wide range of stuff going on these two albums. They do have quite a bit of hard rock. You do have a lot of that kind of poppy kind of rock. They also both have some of that kind of 50-ish feel to their music as well. This is prior to Thin Lizzy's kind of metal, a little bit metal area that they did a little bit later in their career. So there's none of that going on. They both have one singer, of course, Robin Zander for Cheap Trick, Phil Lynott for Thin Lizzy. The other commonality, the thing that I find to be most common from them, is they both had that one massive hit. So with Thin Lizzy, it was The Boys Are Back in Town. This is a song that main staple on rock radio and is a big, massive hit for them. Same with Cheap Trick with I Want You to Want Me, which is on this Live at Budokan. It's also on one of their earlier albums too, but I think the version that most people know comes from this album. And then, of course, they had a few other minor hits. Thin Lizzy had Emerald, Jailbreak, and a few others, Cold Sweat later on, where Cheap Trick had Surrender, Dream Police, and a few other things as they went along as well. I consider both these bands to be bands that I got into fairly early in my rock career because they were on the rock radio and I knew this stuff. I didn't follow their albums as much as maybe some of the other bands, although with Cheap Trick I did have Heaven Tonight and The Dream Police, which were two fairly big albums for me. And I also had Thin Lizzy's, I had a greatest collection from them, and then eventually got Thunder and Lightning, which was a big collecting item for me. But the two live albums illustrate how much energy both bands have. If you listen to them live, you'll hear that energy coming through. They both have this in abundance. I think they're both have interesting shows. You've got the twin guitar powers of Thin Lizzy, whether it was with Robbo and Gorham or with Gorham and Moore. They always had that twin power going. With Cheap Trick, it's the crazy antics and the crazy antics of Rick Nielsen, but also of the band in general. They were a stage performing band, same as Thin Lizzy, both of them having great live shows. For me, Cheap Trick was a big band for me early on in my listening. They were a top 10 band initially. They've since faded to a top 25 band. Kind of similar with Thin Lizzy, maybe not as much. They were probably a top 10 to 15 band, but they faded probably to a top 25 to 30 band as well. So basically the same, they're both within the same realm of each other. The only noticeable difference is I think Cheap Trick had a lot more forward and I was going to say forward. I'm just trying to think of the word to say this. They were a bigger band here, I guess is the best way to put it. In North America, they were more renowned here. They did do very well in Japan too, obviously, from Live at Budokan. Whereas Thin Lizzy, maybe not so much in North America, but much bigger in their homeland and in Great Britain as well. But both these albums are really good. Lots of great guitar work here. Lots of rock and roll music here. Lots of energy. And, a fair number of well-known songs on both albums as well. So for me, I would probably have a hard time picking one over the other. They're both within the same realm for me. So maybe Cheap Trick earlier on, maybe Thin Lizzy a bit more now, but basically very strong bands. So this was the final episode of this on this channel for this series, that Commonalities Compared. That we've done this now for almost a year, maybe longer than a year. This was a couple weeks where we didn't do episodes, so it's probably over a year now, and it will come to an end tonight. And then next week, we're going to start with a 6-part mini-series, which I've discussed with Ben. He was actually supposed to be the one for Decades, but because I kind of misunderstood it, Decades has become something else, and we're going to start a new series that basically Ben is going to pick 2 albums that are 10 years apart. I'm going to talk about the difference of those 2 albums. I think that's what he wants to do, and so that's what we're going to do. And he's going to have 6 episodes of that nature. I believe the first one that he chose to do is going to involve Iron Maiden will be the first one. So we've had a few that we were originally going to do, but this will be the first one. Iron Maiden, their 1980 album versus their 1990 album. This will be very interesting, I think, this particular first episode. So that will start next week, and it will run for 6 weeks, and then we will go. He's going to come up with another channel show that will continue weekly for a fair length of time, probably about the same as as this one and as Ben's album challenge, which was a predecessor to this one as well. And that's how that's going to go. And I hope you've enjoyed this final episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. Much appreciated. Final episode, which features Live at Budokan from Cheap Trick and Live and Dangerous from Thin Lizzy. So please, if you want to make any comments about either albums, you can put them in the comment section below. And we will see you next week with the beginning of the new series, which I have written the name down somewhere but cannot find it. Oh, I think it's here. Sorry, give me a second. Decades Apart is what it's going to be called, not to be confused with Decades 2, but Decades Apart, which will be the name of this new series, which will start next Sunday at 8. So have yourself a good evening. Take care, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.